Today I want to talk about a peptide that I've been quietly testing, and I'm going to give you my honest experience, not the version that confirms what you might want to hear. Because GHK-Cu has some genuinely compelling research behind it. Skin, hair, wound healing, collagen production, anti-inflammatory effects. The science is interesting, but after 50 days of daily subcutaneous injections, for me, the results were a little bit underwhelming. And I think that's worth talking about because there is a lot of hype online for GHK-Cu. People saying it reduced wrinkles, increased hair growth. And I will say I have seen some subtle benefits, but not quite the miraculous results that some people are reporting. Now, I've been covering peptides for a while now on my channel. My full peptide explainer video is going to be linked above if you're a little bit confused about what peptides are, how they work, how people are getting them. So I'll link that above now. And I've been transparent about my peptide use. Specifically, I've been using retatrutide. I've been microdosing it for a few months now. But another peptide I've been trialing is GHK-Cu. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because peptides like this are going to become more widely available very soon. And there is a lot of confusing and contradicting information online. So I want to provide you with the facts. What GHK-Cu is, how it works, the side effects, and my personal experience. So let's start with the basics. GHK-Cu is a naturally occurring copper peptide, a small protein fragment that your body produces on its own. It was first identified in human plasma and has since been found in saliva, urine, and other tissues. Levels decline significantly with age, which is partly why it has generated so much buzz. And as I said at the start, the research on GHK-Cu is genuinely interesting. It's been shown to stimulate collagen and elastin production, promote wound healing, reduce inflammation, stimulate hair follicle activity, and activate genes associated with tissue repair and regeneration. Some researchers have described it as having a broad biological reset effect, activating repair pathways that slow down aging, which all sounds pretty incredible, right? It works by binding to copper ions and acting as a signaling molecule, telling your body to shift into a repair and regeneration state. And this is in the same category as some other peptides I've talked about recently. It's not replacing something your body does. It's stimulating your body to do more of something that it already knows how to do. And just to do it better, to do it more efficiently. Because that's what peptides are. They're signaling molecules. They tell your body to do something, whether that's burn more fat, repair tissue, reduce visceral fat. They're not replacing something your body does. They're telling your body to do something in a more optimal way. Now, the cycling protocol matters here because GHK-Cu is not something you're meant to be taking long term. It's generally used in cycles of 30 to 50 days on, followed by a break. The theory being that receptor sensitivity decreases with continuous use, and cycling maintains the response. I ran a 50-day cycle at 2 milligrams a day. Now, there are different versions of GHK-Cu. You can use it topically, or you can inject it subcutaneously. And this distinction is important. I want to address it before I share my results. Topical GHK-Cu is widely available in skincare products, serums, creams, patches. However, the absorption through the skin is limited, and the concentrations that actually reach deeper tissue layers are significantly lower than what you would get with subcutaneous injection. So topical application, definitely better than nothing. There is some science supporting it, but particularly for skin level concerns. But the research is showing more significant results through injectable GHK-Cu. This allows it to reach your tissues systematically. So I did this at 2 milligrams per day, which is the standard research protocol range. So my results, or lack of them, are from the delivery method with the strongest research behind it. Okay, let me start with the injection process because not enough people are talking about this. Retatrutide, which I've talked about in previous videos, using it is basically painless. Easy injection, no reaction, barely noticeable. GHK-Cu is a completely different experience. In the peptide space, it's commonly referred to as spicy, and I would say that's accurate. Now, the injection itself isn't actually painful, but the site itches afterwards, and you will develop a small red mark. Now, for me, the intensity varied day to day. Some days it was a lot itchier and a lot more irritated. Other days, it was barely noticeable. Now, of course, I rotated injection sites as recommended. Sometimes I did my love handles, sometimes my thighs. sometimes my stomach. And love handles tended to work best for me in terms of a reaction, but I did find that depending on what I was wearing that day, if I was wearing something that sort of rubbed on that area, it would be more irritated. And this really wasn't anything serious. It would go away after a day, but at that point, it was time to dose again. So not a major issue, but definitely something worth knowing. Now the results. And of course, I'm gonna be showing you before and after photos. So for my skin, honestly, I can't really notice an obvious change. Let me know if you see anything. My skin feels similar to how it did before the cycle. When I look at some of the results from the clinical research, their fine lines seem to be a bit softer. I mean, obviously I am still relatively young, so this isn't something I struggle with too much, but I was still hoping to see a little bit more of a difference. When it comes to my hair, however, this is a change I noticed the most. And actually when I started filming today, I did notice on camera that I had this little patch of baby hairs here. So I'm gonna go back and see in some previous videos, in previous photos, if that was there. Hair regrowth is a common benefit from GHK-Cu and a reason why a lot of people use it. I'll put some clinical result photos on the screen now for reference. But I mean, I'm not someone who struggles with hair loss, with fine hair, or anything like that. So nothing has been overwhelmingly obvious. Now, before I write off GHK-Cu entirely, because like I said, I had seen some pretty incredible results online. I was expecting for my hair to go to the floor, my skin to be like glass. And I mean, I didn't really see that. But there could be a reason here. The first being that I only did one cycle. A lot of researchers and anecdotal results I've seen online say it takes at least 2 to 3 cycles before you see obvious results. The first cycle primes the receptor pathways, and subsequent cycles produce more noticeable results. So if that's true, then 50 days might not have been enough. Second, of course, individual response varies. My retatrutide results surprised me on the positive side. GHK-Cu has surprised me in an underwhelming way. That doesn't mean that it necessarily doesn't work. Obviously, some people and the research shows that there are benefits, but maybe just not for me personally. And the third reason could be my baseline. I already prioritize sleep, protein, and collagen supplements. It's possible that the marginal benefit of GHK-Cu is smaller when your baseline is already reasonably good. So I'm not ready just yet to conclude that GHK-Cu doesn't work. But I'm not here to tell you that it works when my genuine experience says otherwise. So what's next for me? I'm thinking about taking a couple more weeks off and then starting a second cycle. So if you'd like another update in the future, comment down below and make sure you're subscribed. GHK-Cu has interesting research behind it. The mechanism is compelling, and a 50-day cycle at 2 milligrams daily is a legitimate protocol. But my personal results were underwhelming. And the injection process was honestly pretty unpleasant. Unlike other peptides like retatrutide, where it's a once-a-week thing, GHK-Cu is daily. And for the almost non-existent benefits I experienced, I'm not sure it's worth it. But that said, I might be willing to give it one more chance. Now, if you want the full context on peptides before diving into any of this, I highly recommend watching my peptide explainer video next. I'll link that on the screen now. And let me know in the comments if you've tried GHK-Cu before. Did you notice any benefits? What was your experience like? Let me know down below.